and it was probably the hardest month of the year by far. Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Jeanine Amapola, and I'm back here sitting on my couch doing another kind of comfy video with you guys. I definitely want to, like, going forward in 2020, want to do like a couch conversation series or something, because every time I like want to just sit down and chit chat with you guys, I'm always on my couch. And you guys like love these videos too. If I look back at my channel this year, I know my channel struggled this year, but some of the videos that like stuck out to me or that you guys really enjoyed were videos like this where I just sit down and chit chat with you guys and just have like an honest, genuine conversation, and you guys love those. So I definitely want to do more of those going forward, and that just makes me think like maybe I should do more of these or do a podcast. I don't know. But anyway, I want to do a video kind of just doing like a year in review of 2019, kind of just going through my year and talking about the good and the bad and the struggles and things I learned, and just kind of takeaway tips for you guys. 2019 was an interesting year for me. It grew me so much, like so much. But also it painfully grew me. It broke me down in a lot of ways, but then rebuilt me back up, and God taught me so much this year. And a lot of things that I'm really thankful that God did teach me in a painful way, but that's just sometimes how life is. You get so broken down and you painfully learn from things, but in the end you look back and you're like, hindsight's 2020, and I can see why God did that. So a lot of the situations I look back on and I'm like, man, God really did have a plan for that. So I want to share with you guys kind of the things I learned from this past year, kind of going through the months and everything. And so hopefully you guys learned some things from this. You have some takeaway tips. It might be a long video, so I hope you guys aren't mad at that. Get yourself a snack or tea or something. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this video, and let's just get right into it. I'm gonna eat a pickle. Y'all, I love pickles. It's one thing you should know about me. These are the ones from Trader Joe's. They're so good. Okay, I'm nasty, I know. Let's get it. So I'm gonna have my computer here because the best way for me to remember moments of life is to go back to my photos. And so I have my computer open here, and a lot of these photos bring me back to really, really sweet moments of my life, moments that I will cherish and remember forever. So January is when I moved here, and also when I officially left Dallas. I got rid of my apartment there, and I officially moved here by myself January. And again, as I've always said, I was really scared to live alone, but I trusted that God wanted me to do that. And that was one lesson I learned, was just trusting in the Lord, that his plans are better for me than my own plans. And so I just had a feeling God wanted me to live alone, and I did, and it has grown me so much. Like, it genuinely has, and I'm so thankful for this past year of me getting to live alone, because it stretched me in ways I never thought it would, and it really helped me to learn to like fall in love with myself more and be independent and not necessarily have to rely on other people, and to just spend quality time with God. I feel like I found my own style this year of my apartment. If you guys watch my home tour, you can watch that down below. I feel like I really found my style this last year, and me getting to decorate an entire apartment to myself was really, really cool and fun. And it just made me realize how much I love like designing and home and white, bright, beachy vibes kind of type of thing in my house. So I don't know, January was really great, and that's also when I officially announced I was in a relationship. And that was scary because dating on the internet is just always inevitably scary. People, you know, push their opinions and whatever, but I felt confident about the relationship, so I posted about it. So February was kind of when I was starting to get more settled into my apartment. That's really when I was designing more, purchasing more things for my home. I spent a lot of time in San Diego where my ex lived, and I just explored there. And I truly feel like February is when I started discovering more of an adventurous side about myself. When I look back at photos of just me, you know, like surfing and rock climbing and going on adventures and stuff, it just reminded me of just how I developed more of an adventurous side. And I also just decorated my apartment more, so that was really great. March. So March was my birthday month, is when I turned 25. And that is actually kind of a little bit of when I feel like the quarter life crisis started happening, like legit. Like, people always say when you turn 25, you'll get a quarter life crisis. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And to be honest, it was a little bit true. So I turned 25, I had an amazing birthday. It was super chill. I didn't want anything excessive. So that's actually the first time I went to Alabama and visited my ex's family. And it was great. And I traveled to Mexico that month. I went to Vegas that month. I got more into fitness that month and took it more seriously. Went down to San Diego a couple times. Filmed a really, really fun video that I really love. That's on my Instagram. It's a Love is a Lie video.
There's no one else here around me, sinking my feet in the sand.
That's when I also discovered more of how I wanted to make certain videos and more creatively how I wanted to create videos. So if you guys want to check that video out, it'll be linked down below for you as well. But yeah, and also during this time, more involved in my Bible study and my church, and this is kind of when that all really started to take off, was getting more connected in that, and I started volunteering at my church and just getting more involved with Christians around me, and that for me has been 100% game changer. Like at the end of the video, when I do kind of a summary, like that's gonna be one of my like honing points, is just like community and people and who you're surrounding yourself with. And so at this time is when I was really starting to get more plugged into that, and it was just like staple for me. Then back to kind of like the quarter life crisis thing. Yeah, March is when some things in my life started to get questioned more, as far as like my channel and my values and what I believed, and materialism and money. Like everything in my life was starting to be questioned. And it was hard, but it was for the best, and I needed it to be questioned because there were questions I needed to ask myself. But overall, March was still great. I loved that month. Again, I was in a happy relationship, and I was, it was my birthday month, and I traveled that month, and it was great. So March was great. Now we move on to April, and April again is where I was still working out, really taking fitness seriously, and loved it, and really fell and more in love with that. And I also was working with Fabletics this entire year. I had an entire year-long partnership with them, which was so fun, and I'm so honored I got to do that. But April is definitely when the quarter life crisis like legit hit me. That's when everything was being questioned, and people were questioning me, and I had to really reevaluate what I believed in my faith as far as money. How much am I giving? Am I selfish? Like so many things around like just ego and my heart and all of that, like my heart position, my walk with the Lord, like everything was questioned, and I had to question that myself. And it was hard to kind of have to pick apart and really dive down deep into all those things in my life, but it was really necessary, and I needed to, because it really humbled me and shaped me, and painfully picked me apart to like the core, to where I could look at myself in the mirror and be like, okay, Jeanine, like who truly are you? And I didn't want to be viewed as a selfish, self-centered, egotistical person that only like lived her life around me and my income and whatever. So I really reevaluated myself in April, and like I said, it was really, really, really hard, but it was good. Also around this time is when I started seeing a counselor. So my Bible study leader is also a counselor and a life coach. So I realized that there were still things in my past, from my past relationship, that I hadn't dealt with, that I really want to make sure that I dealt with, so that it wouldn't be lingering in my future. So going to counseling was something that I realized was so healthy for me, and something that I encourage everyone to do. And it again also like got down to my core, to my childhood, to my past, like why did I do the things I did? And it taught me so much, and it really set me free in so many areas, and I can just like praise God for that, because I think we all need that. I'm sure there's all areas in our lives that we need to be set free from, and things that we are still holding on to that we need to let go of. So counseling was really, really great, and I'm really thankful that I did that in April. And in April is also when I had to get a new car, so I ended up leasing another car, which was exciting that year. Also, April is where I went to Stagecoach and didn't go to Coachella, so I don't really regret that, but going forward, I might want to go back to Coachella. But Stagecoach was so much fun, and I got to go with the brand, which is always such a blast. Moving on to May. Now, May was a crazy travel month. I went to the YouTube Creator Summit in New York, which was such an honor. It was my first time ever going to that, and that really just means that like YouTube kind of recognizes you as like, I guess, a top creator, which that doesn't, I don't want to sound like cocky saying that, but like not everyone gets invited. So for me to be invited like meant so much to me, and I was like, okay, wow, like this is great, like finally something with YouTube. So I got to go to that and meet so many other creators. That was so much fun. Also in May is when I went to Costa Rica with my ex as well. We went to a surf camp with La Pointe, and that was one of the best trips of my life, because I really fell in love with surfing this year. So there I really, really learned the basics and like the nitty gritty of surfing, and it was just an incredible trip. So I love that trip so much, and like that's really what got me like in love with surfing, and really what spurred me on to want to like learn more. So that was an incredible trip for me. May is also when I decided to be a little bit more bold, and I decided to partake in a short film that was quite controversial, and it was really scary to do, but again, I felt like God called me to do it, and I did it with my ex as well. And it was scary for me to partake in that, because I knew that it would give me lashback, and I knew people would not like it, but Also, the feedback from it was really, really great, and I'm really proud of myself for trying to do something different than I normally do. So that's also something I filmed in May back in Colorado, and that was like just a film that I never thought I would do, but I did. And yeah, and if you read my Instagram post about it, you'll know my heart and my position in that. It was not like a film that I wanted to do to be nasty or anything of that sort, but it was scary. I was kind of proud of myself for doing something that normally I think other creators probably wouldn't do. And so, yeah, that was a little bit scary back in May, but I did it. And that kind of just taught me that, like, I want to be bold about my faith, and I know I'm going to get persecuted. I know people aren't going to like me for what I believe sometimes, but for me to do it either way, because that's kind of like the life of a Christian. That's also how Jesus was. Jesus was persecuted. It kind of just taught me that, like, God will honor me just trying to obey him, you know what I mean? So yeah. Okay, June is when I spoke at the Her conference, which was really awesome. It's always awesome to be able to like speak to women and empower them and share my faith and just share values and things I've learned. So Her conference was awesome to speak at, and of course I met some amazing subscribers there. Also in 2019 is when I got to work with Apple and Equinox and Fabletics and Starbucks, so many brands I never dreamed that I would get to work with, and I did. So that was really, really exciting. So throughout the whole year, I was going to Equinox, and it was just such like an amazing partnership that like I was so honored to get, and so that was really, really exciting for me. So I worked out a lot at Equinox this year, specifically June, because I think I tried to chill out with traveling in June, and it was great. June is also when my sister got married, so I went to Austin and supported her in that and got to speak at her wedding, and had an incredible time in Texas at that time. Seeing the way that she honored the Lord with her relationship purity-wise, and just everything, she waited 5 years patiently to marry this guy, and everything like was so great for me to see. But I will say near the end of June is when things started to kind of get a little bit more rocky in my relationship due to several factors. So I ended up going to Lake Tahoe to kind of like take time away to figure out myself and pray and fast and really hone in on like, what do I want? What does God want? What does the future look like? So I went to Lake Tahoe, and it's a beautiful spot to go. That's really where I sat and thought a lot about like life and my goals. And that weekend was pretty heavy for me, not gonna lie, just because my relationship started to get a little bit iffy here. We were trying to figure out things, and Lake Tahoe is a beautiful place, but I look back on it, and even though I had fun, it wasn't necessarily the most fondest memories, just because that was really hard for me there, because I had to really sit there and think about life and relationships and things I didn't want to think about, you know, things that you want to like push away. But also I realized like you have to sit there and allow yourself to feel the things you have to feel, because otherwise you'll just numb them, and numbing souls are not growing souls. So don't numb things, and you have to feel it and go through it. July is where my boyfriend and I separated, and it was probably the hardest month of the year by far. I'll be okay. I just wanted to let you guys know what's going on, and I was crying all the time. I felt just so confused. I don't feel like I lost myself or my identity, because again, like my identity wasn't in the relationship, but it was really confusing when we had talked about marriage, and like I don't really want to get all into this because it's just not like something that I feel like is that important to get into. But July is where I again was just like, it just threw me a curveball, and I was really sad. I'm not gonna lie, I was really sad in July. I spent a lot of time that month running away to the beach, trying to figure out my life, just trying to like cope with my feelings, more in counseling, dealing that with my life coach, my mentor. But July is where I really honed in more on friendships and on people, and went more to church and drew nearer to the Lord. So instead of me running away and not trying to face my problems, I went straight into them and just really fell more in love with the Lord. And so even though July was so painful for me, the same time God was so near to my heart and just like tended to it, and it just made me realize how great my family and my friends are in my life, and how much I need people, how much I need God. So even though my relationship kind of like fell apart at that time, I realized that like my life wasn't over. That's what was so great, was like when I didn't put my identity in the relationship, so my life didn't like shatter, even though it was really hard. Don't get me wrong, but it made me realize like, Jeanine, like you'll be okay, you know? So July was a rough one. So July, I just hung out with a lot of friends, ran to the beach, dove more into my faith, had friends come visit me, which was really great. Worked out a bunch, held an event with Equinox that month, which was so great. I love meeting you guys and doing that workout event with you guys. August was also filled with going to the beach and reading my Bible and kind of escaping there and really finding like serenity there, or peace there, I guess, because I really do find a lot of peace at the beach. So spent a lot of time going to the beach and just hanging out with God. I also went to Atlanta and saw some good friends, saw my friends start partying there again, and developed new friendships, which was just incredible. Friendships that I will now have forever. So I'm super thankful that I went there and got to see a new city, which was exciting. I also ran a 5K that supported veterans, which was so fun, and I love doing events like that, so I was really, really thankful I got to participate in that. Also had an event with my Bible study girls where we just all really honed in again of like what's important in life and like what is God calling us to do, and it really just drew us all closer together. So that was an amazing event, and just again, it made me realize how much I love good, great, godly women in my life. So that event just reminded me of that again. September is when I got a partnership with Toyota, which was really fun, and I went to Santa Barbara for my first time and absolutely fell in love with it, loved it, and had a really great weekend with my friends there. Also went to Dallas for a Verizon event, which was really cool also to partner with Verizon. Went to New York Fashion Week for the first time ever and got to work with Rebecca Minkoff, which was really, really exciting, and that was like so cool. I never thought in my life that I would like actually know Rebecca Minkoff. She's like a well-known designer, and we became friends with her at an event with Jessica Alba, and it was just really, really cool. So we, as in me and Shelby, so that was really, really exciting and just like a cool thing to be able to say I got to go do, so I love that. Also September is when I went to Bali with my sister, and I had the time of my life. Bali is like one of those places I will never forget. Loved it, would go back. I have an entire video in Bali as well if you guys want to check that out. I put so much work into that video. But Bali was just an incredible, incredible trip, and it made me again fall in love with surfing more because I went there for another surf camp. So at this time, I was feeling more like myself again. I was getting back in my routine. I was, you know, learning to love myself more, and I was just happy with myself again and just kind of doing me and learning how to be independent and happy on my own. And so September was definitely a better month for me, I will say, and I'm really proud of myself. Oh, and we also went to Thailand as well. Thailand was exciting, so it was just cool to get to cross up another country, and it just made me realize how much I love traveling and just going like to new places and trying out their food and culture and everything. So Thailand was really, really awesome. Okay, so October is when I went to ACL, and that's Austin City Limits, which is a music festival. That was really, really fun. It was like the hottest day of the year. That was brutal. Halloween was that month, which I just realized how much I hate Halloween. It's just so not my holiday. I just don't really enjoy it. So holiday was a little bit of a bust this past year, but that's fine. I really don't care. October again was just like another chill month, personality, life-wise. Just kind of got back to just doing me, hanging out with Bible study girls, just friends and everything. So nothing too crazy happened in October. So November. November is when my best friend came to visit me. I got to speak at Revival LA, which Revival LA was a Christian conference, which just really solidified that I feel like God has me in the place that I am meant to be.
Because hurt people, but free people free other people. And that's what I want for us today.
Let's be people that are so set free that we set other people free. And that other people want this gift that we have by our breakthrough and by our freedom.
And so me getting to speak at a Christian conference was really exciting because I felt like I was actually in a position to where I felt like I was in a good spot with the Lord in my faith and just my walk to where I would be able to speak at a Christian conference and mean what I say and say what I mean. And it was awesome. So that really just meant that God was like opening doors for me to speak publicly more, to speak and inspire other people, specifically women. So that was really just revealing to me, and I was really excited about that. November is also where I got shingles, and you're probably like, what the heck are shingles? And shingles are like adult chickenpox, but they hurt your nerves. It's like a bad rash. It aches your entire body. I couldn't walk. I was in throbbing pain.
And we have a diagnosis. It was what we thought it was, and it's freaking shingles. I like wanted to show y'all the rash, but also it'd be really disgusting. And I'll just
Google it.
Yeah, Google it.
And shingles are induced by stress. So that proved to me and showed to me that I had to take care of my body. There's underlying stress and anxiety that I haven't dealt with. And things like if you keep suppressing it, it'll still pop back up somewhere. So I talked to a lot of people, and a lot of them were like, Jeanine, you're the youngest person I've met that has shingles. That was eye-opening to me, and I was like, I have got to start taking better care of my like health and my body and everything. Because every time around this year, something health medically wise has happened to me. It's like the past 3 years in a row, it's happened to me. So I think that's God telling me something. So the shingles was probably like the worst thing I dealt with this year. It was so not fun. It was like really, really achy on my body. I survived, we're good. I healed in probably like a week and a half, which was really great, which is actually like a lot faster than a lot of people heal. So I'm happy that I dealt with that. And then after that, I went to London to go see my friend again, Sarah Partain. She moved to London. That was an incredible trip, and it made me realize again how I want to live in like Europe for a summer, do something abroad for a summer. So that was really great, and I just loved London. And then also November is when I dyed my hair. So that was something I was really scared to do. I'm not a big risk taker. So just like last minute, I was like, screw it, whatever. I'm gonna dye my hair, whatever. I colored it with this girl in Dallas. She was like, wanna color your hair? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Did it. Kind of regret it, but at the same time, not really, don't really care. I kind of like it. So November was just kind of like taking a risk. I was like, why not? Let's just color my hair. Maybe it reflected kind of what was going on in my heart. I'm just like, F it, you know what I mean? So I don't know. And here we are in December. Wow, time flew. December is just when I started setting up for Christmas, and then I went to Spain and Israel for 2 weeks with some of my great friends, and y'all, it was a trip of a lifetime. If you didn't check out my Vlogmas, it's linked down below. That trip made me realize so much stuff. Just like about people, how to ask people good questions, how to serve people more, how to love on people. I learned about politics of Israel and Palestine. I learned more about my faith and myself and just got to walk where Jesus walked. It was like the coolest trip ever, and it made me just appreciate the people around me and just realize like it's not really about where you do life, it's about who you do life with. And so those people really taught me a lot, and man, I had an incredible time there. So make sure you go check out those vlogs. So that trip was like, it was just amazing for me. So Spain and Israel were incredible. And then I went to Seattle with my family for a week, and that was the best thing ever. I got a partnership with Vrbo, which is VRBO. It was like, it's a home rental website. So I got to rent out this really cool Vrbo with my family, and we had the best time. It was something my family needed. We haven't been like united like that in a while. So that was so needed, and it was the best. And so I got back from that only like 3 days ago. So now I'm back in LA, working on myself again and just trying to like not get sick again because I'm sick right now. Yeah, that's kind of my year in review. There's so many things I could add because how can I cram an entire year into like a short video? But overall, you guys, let's get into kind of like the takeaway points of just kind of like, what did this year teach me? And I know I've been talking a lot, and I kind of want to just like, you know, bust this out really quickly. 2019 was definitely just a year of self-reevaluation, and I think some of the things I learned from this past year are really to be okay with being alone, to learn to love myself more, to not need so many things to feel good about myself. So whether that's makeup or clothing or certain items or accolades or achievements, I don't need those necessarily to feel good about myself or to put my confidence in those things. And I think that was pretty big for me because I did put a lot of value and worth into those things, and I don't feel like I do that anymore. Also, I feel like my relationship with the Lord deepened so much this year because I attribute that to having a life coach and seeing her regularly and having her be my mentor. And whenever I need older, wiser spiritual guidance, I would go to her. And my friend group, my Bible study, like community, I cannot stress enough how important community is, having people that run the race with you, good people that elevate you, that don't bring you down, that aren't gonna, you know, encourage you to do things that you know are wrong. I learned to be less selfish and give more and try to really put other people first. I definitely had some selfish tendencies before, and I feel like I've learned to be a lot better at that. Now, am I perfect at it? No, but I do think that's something I learned a lot this year. And so I think just the more that you can give and you can love people and think about others and put them first and do things that you don't really want to do, but you do it anyway, the better off you will be. And I also learned to be more giving with my money this year, whether that was giving to a mission trip or someone like that was going through something, or the forest fires in LA, or just something like that, like whether it was the veterans. I learned just to be more giving and willing with my money and to buy gifts for people and serve people. So that was really great because that's something I really wanted to work on, and I think I did better at it this year. Also dating wise, I just learned more of kind of what I want and I don't want, and also areas where I can grow and fix myself, and where I don't need to be dependent on a person for certain things. How I need to have my own life and I can be okay with being just me and doing my thing, having my life, but just qualities and things that I look for. And not that I didn't know that before, it's just that I'm even more aware of it now and know what I really, really want. Just really think that I learned to just be more confident in myself. I would say I definitely had some insecurities that I had to work through, and I definitely worked through them. So I just feel overall I'm just more confident in myself. I don't know, this year was definitely really rough for me. Like, I do think that the breakup really like shook me up, and it really messed with me in a lot of areas that I was not expecting, but it did. But I give all glory to God, because I just say, God, like, you are going to use these situations, you're going to use this heartbreak or this heartache or whatever to grow me, to shape me to a better person, to teach me something. And clearly if you took it away, it means he either has something better, or it just wasn't that timing for me, or it wasn't the timing for us. So I just trust that, and it really just made me rely on the Lord and just be like, okay, God, like, I have to trust you, and I do trust him. And so this year was a lot of like this for me, but boy, it grew me and shaped me into, I think, a better person. Now going forward, yes, there's still areas I want to work on. I definitely think YouTube wise, career wise, it was on the back burner this year because I had so many mental things I had to go through, and things that I had to deal with before I could really be in a good spot to deal with my career, and before I could put out like a podcast or products or do things I really want to do, because my mind was so distracted in other areas. So I realized, like, if you're so spread thin and you're not really dealing with what's going on here and here, you can't really focus on what's going on like here, like work wise and career wise. And so going forward, 2020, I really feel like I'm in a better headspace now of like knowing what I want and what I don't want, what I want to do, what I don't want to do. So everything that happened to me this past year, even though I was so rocked in a painful way, I'm like, God, you used it for your good. You taught me something. And all the lessons that I go through, I always want to use these to give back to other people and teach other people things and lessons I've learned. And so I think my prayer for y'all and my prayer for this next year for myself is just, let's fall more in love with the Lord. Matthew 6:33 says, first seek his righteousness and his kingdom, and all other things will be added unto you. And so basically going forward in 2020, I just want to seek his kingdom first, because I really, really, truly believe that if you seek his kingdom first in absolutely everything you do, nothing, like, you can't go wrong. There's peace in that. And so that's what I wish for me, for you guys, and in everything that you do, whether that's relationship, family, yourself, appearance, money, I mean, literally anything. You can't go wrong in seeking God first. I just give glory to the Lord and just say, Jesus, like, whatever you have for me in 2020, like, I'm yours. I think a final note is also, I just want to remind you guys that, like, no matter what you see on the internet and what you see on people's photos and Instagram or whatever, like, just remember that everyone's going through something. We're all dealing with something. Everything can appear shiny. I've always tried to be pretty transparent in the fact that I, go through things, and I don't want anyone to look at my life and think like, oh, she's so perfect and her life's this and that and she's this and that. Like, I really always wanted to try to be real and honest with you guys, and I'm struggling with things, and I feel like I have. And so just remember, when you're looking at people's profiles or even people's YouTube accounts, not everything is always as shiny and perfect as you see. So just be kind, be aware of that, be loving to yourself, and just remember that, like, we're all going through something. So love people. But I'm in a really good spot now, I feel like, and I'm ready for whatever 2020 has for me. And I feel like I've just, it was a painful year, but also it just grew me so much, and I just accepted and embraced the pain because it shaped me into a better person. So I love you guys. It was an incredible, incredible year, and let's just rock 2020 together. I'm excited for the future, excited for whatever God has for all of us. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you made it to the end. Feel free to check out my vlogs. That's Jeanine TV down below, and my Instagram is Jeanine Amapola. You guys can always keep up with me on there. I respond to you guys a lot on there. If you have questions, I will answer you guys on there, send you guys voice memos back. So check that out on my Instagram. And that's it, you guys. I love you so much, and peace out, girls. Go. Bye, guys.